What's up, guys? My name is Jackal, and we are here for some good old retro games, because that's all we do around these parts. And we're also here for our main man, Bojack Horseman. We're here for, Season 3, Episode 4. Just here to talk a little bit about it, play a little bit of Kirby's Adventure here for the NES. Gonna have a good time. It's nice, I'm recording this. It is 4:18 in the morning. My afternoon. This is my afternoon time. But I didn't really sleep well yesterday, so I'm a little bit tired right now. But just enjoying my morning. It's nice and quiet. Just here chilling. Recording out here in one of my cars. Well, my girlfriend's car. My car is in front. And I need to buy some more coolant because my heat stopped working if my, if I'm idling. So, my girlfriend's car doesn't do that. So, we're going to do that. So, in an effort to make sure that with Bojack Horseman, that because like I've said this in a couple other videos, but it really does bother me, and it's something I got to be mindful of. I need to make sure I'm not making... Woo! I need to make sure I'm not making my Bojack Horseman discussions too much of a recap, because if you're somebody who's... I'm not reacting to it. So, I shouldn't be doing like a play-by-play with it. Anybody who comes across it and is interested in Bojack is probably already going to have watched the episode. So, I need to make sure I'm not doing that. And I do have a nasty habit of doing that. Nope. Alright. Ooh. Alright. Bruh! We messing it up so hard. All this so I could keep the laser for no reason at all. Ooh, and I almost lost it for real. I would have lost it in the water. I would have lost it for real. Like, for real, for real. But, so yeah. Now, I guess luckily with wanting to do that, with that goal in mind, this episode is actually really easy because expertise timing. But it really works out because this episode... Alright, I'm done with you. In with the new. But this episode, there's not really much to talk about. Because this whole episode took place underwater largely... Alright. Episode took place largely underwater. Largely with no dialogue outside of the first, 2 minutes of the episode and the last couple seconds of the episode. Alright, we are messing up and getting whipped. It's great. Never mind. High jump. Whee! Whee! Let's get the medicine. Bruh. This is just not working out right now. Yeah, explode over there on the other side of the screen. But since this episode largely took place in silence, or at least with no dialogue for a lot of it, it kind of makes it easier to not really talk about what was happening. But a big thing that I got in this episode is really just the feeling of isolation. And can I just say that the idea of doing an episode after 2 seasons, doing an episode in relative silence. Chad move. Very big boy Chad move. I very much thought that decision was a phenomenal one. The music, the ambiance, everything in this episode was amazing. So with that out of the way, knowing how dope everything was in the episode, the big thing that I got for, on purpose, a big feeling I got is isolation. And not just the idea of isolation, but also how somebody responds to it. Because you see Bojack, one of the first things you see him do when he gets put in this new environment where he's not really able to talk or properly interact with people, is you see him trying to take part in some of his vices. You see him trying to smoke, you see him trying to drink, and he's not able to, because, he's underwater. So when he tries to smoke, he can't light it, so that doesn't work. And when he tries to drink alcohol, one, he has a, get out of here. Not just does he have a helmet on, he's also, again, in water, so he's not going to be able to drink. Alright. Get away from the lightning bolts. Ooh, that was pretty close, buddy. Oh, buddy! Alright. But, yeah, you see Bojack trying to take part in his usual vices. Like, nothing out of the ordinary of what you would see Bojack doing. Hiya! Get the fuck out of here! Do a little dance. Yeah. Alright, now we're done with the shitty world. On to, the rest of the game. But, you see Bojack trying to take part in his usual vices, and it doesn't work. And you see him also trying to, for the first part, avoid, and then later on try to get the attention of Kelsey, who's in the episode, trying to promote whatever work she's been doing since getting fired from the Secretariat movie. And you see Bojack trying to give her an apology note. And can we all recognize how much our drunken alcoholic king just cannot for the life of him really apologize very well? Maybe he has had a moment where he has had a good apology, and I just can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm sure there's had to at least have been a couple times. At least one. I think. Hopefully. Just so I don't sound dumb. But, well, any more than normal anyway. But, ooh, triple threat! That was a very loud attack. Another useless one. There's never enough enemies on screen to warrant using that shit. But, Bojack can't, he tries to apologize to her, and you see the notes he attempts to write, and they are not good. They are embarrassingly bad. Is there anything in here? Boink. There we go. Exit level. But the main thrust of the episode is all done with Bojack having this baby with him. That is the main crux of the episode. And I remember saying in an earlier episode that I had a feeling that, with a bit of instruction and, some lessons to be learned, I actually think Bojack would make an excellent father figure. You saw in his little pretend flashbacks with his on his trip with the daughter that he imagines he would have had with Charlotte. I don't know why I couldn't think of her name for a second. But with his made-up kid that he would have had with Charlotte. And I remember saying that, I actually think that Bojack would be a pretty loving dad. Like, I think he would actually make a pretty decent father. And other than the very beginning when, you got Bojack over here trying to feed the kids cigarettes, aside from that, that was not at all what I wanted, sir. Thank you, though. Why was I not able to suck him up? Nothing can avoid Kirby suck. What is this? But, and I mean, I guess a little bit of that to me has to do with his upbringing as well. I imagine him being pretty empathetic, actually, towards kids due to all of the pretty bad shit that it seems like he had to go through with his family. Shoom, shoom. Now, we haven't gotten to see the full picture of what that looks like for Bojack. Oh, damn it. Sorry, I got distracted. I don't even know if that sentence was about to make any sense. But no, let's start that sentence over, because I don't even know how I was going to start that off. But, due to the kind of neglect that we've seen him suffer, I could imagine him being pretty empathetic to kids. Now, even though he's doing, I just think it's nice to see. I think it's a nice change of character for him. And it kind of shows that, like, in isolation, Bojack didn't really want to be in the sea. He was in a kind of like a foreign world. Because, I mean, that's how everything's put to him as, he's in a foreign world. He can't really communicate with anyone. And he can't really talk to anyone. Now, you find out at the end that's kind of a gag on his part. But we'll just say, for the sake of the episode, he actually couldn't really communicate with people. Because I think that makes it narratively a little better. And the end, him being able to use a speaker is just kind of a gag. But you see him in a world where he can't really communicate with anyone. And when he's isolated, the thing that he, ends up finding is a kid. And, he's over here trying to, frantically run around, trying to apologize to Kelsey. In, these really shitty, really fake and plastic ways that do probably come from a good place, but it's due to the fact that Bojack's not really used to apologizing, it seems. And, no, jump. Whee! Climbing that ass. Wait, I don't want to be up here. No! How'd I do that? That was awful. Look at chubby fat Kirby. Look at him. But, I'm so tired. It's been more than 24 hours and I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. It's great. Freeze. Hiya. Ooh. Yeah. I knew there was a trick to it. I like being able to just turn everything into blocks. Hey, end of the stage. I don't think I got very far. Yeah, not as far. I have not been able to get a whole lot of 1-ups through the mini game in this playthrough. It's been kind of lame. But, no, you see Bojack when he gets isolated. And, you know, he's running around, like, frantically trying to fake apologize to Kelsey because he's not really used to doing it. And through it, he finds himself stumbled onto a baby that he has to take care of. And it really does bring the best out of him. I mean, you see Bojack, when this baby's in danger, almost immediately put his life on the line, you know, when the baby's going into the fan, and he, like, jams his, like, underwater helmet in the turbine, and then stops it so the baby will be safe. You'll see him do all sorts of shit, like, immediately, with no hesitation. And it's really wholesome. It was actually really nice to see. And what it made me think of is that, especially with, you know, it is the thing with cats, of course, but especially, like, no, I would actually say it's probably pretty equal. When it comes to, like, people who are, like, especially with, like, pet culture in the United States, it really, I think, speaks to the way that I think that's one of the reasons why we attach to the animals that we do so well. Because there's a lot of people that, because of just the way life is, a lot of people are going through a lot of problems where they feel, you know, secluded from the world around them. And, you know, when you, even if you're not physically isolated from somebody, like, you know, we all know somebody who's gone through, you know, real shitty bouts of lame. Alright, just flat, forget it. We've all seen people go through things that give them that drive to, like, be better, especially when they're at, like, their lower points. When they really feel isolated. Whether it's physically or just you yourself, you're feeling isolated. And I mean, like, having a brand new daughter now, like, I can't say that I just figured this out, because I didn't. You know, my son has been my son for at least now, I've been dating his mom now for over 3 years. The boy was 2 when I met her. I would say I looked at him as my own kid, just the way he looked up to me, at least after a year. It was probably the first 2 years, because there was what was it? My girl didn't have a license at the time, and she still doesn't. And she had gotten pulled over in a car that her boss at the time had given her that had expired license plates. So she got pulled over and had to spend like 24 hours in jail or whatever. And that was in the evening. So a year after us dating, there was a moment where I had to, on my own, you know, take care of the kid. Just make sure that I could, you know, handle everything that came with watching a kid by myself. Especially one who, you know, all of a sudden is looking around like, where's mommy at? And that was the first time that I really felt like a parent. But I guess it makes you realize that there's a lot of reasons that people feel more like drive to do things when they either have a kid or even just a pet. Because, you know, there's a lot of people I know who have been suicidal in their past just through life circumstances. If they have depression that kind of runs on a cycle, whatever it might be for that person, there's a lot of them that I noticed that they would have a really hard time taking themselves any level beyond where they need to with their condition, knowing that they have something to take care of. Now, for everybody that doesn't work. Like, for some people, their illness just spreads that far and deep. You know, parents commit suicide while their kids are, you know, alive, young, and depending on them. You know, I don't want to say all the time, but, like, it happens. So, like, that's not always the case, but, you know, it's nice to see that at a time where Bojack really does seem isolated from the world around him, he got to have this experience with a little creature that made him, for a brief period of time, like the best version of himself. And I like that. All right, let's get this guy. Bro, that was luck. I'm not going to do that again. No. Oh. That was in like 0.02 seconds. That was big bah! I got one up out of it. I accept this. This is acceptable to me. Suck. But, you know, he found himself being a version of himself that was, you know, taking care of a kid and putting his life on the line when he needed to. Just like that. Just like that. Really, just like that. And especially for a character like Bojack, like that's a pretty big deal, actually. Go in the door. Oh. Ow. Excuse me. But, you know, that's a lot. Those are a lot of behaviors that I didn't know I would see from Bojack. At least not without a little bit more of, like, a change in events in his life is when I would have expected to see him acting like that. But what it did take was a microcosm of that, which was isolation. Hammer puzzles. Not really a puzzle, that one. There'll be some later. Oh, I thought I was about to get it. Drats. But no, it was nice to see. And it was nice to see at the end, honestly, it was kind of nice when you see lame. When you see Bojack finally get the baby seahorse to the creature's father, because Bojack was there to help give birth to the baby. Finds the dad, because it's a seahorse, of course. Finds him and delivers the baby back. And what's kind of, I don't know what we would call it, but whatever it is, what's interesting is that the dad actually didn't look like super interested in the kid. It was more just like, oh, really? I thought I had 5. Well, I guess I have 6. Like, they didn't seem that happy, or like, you know, you can't understand what they're saying, but you didn't see like any expression of like, oh, you know, thank you for finding my kid or anything. Like, it was just like, oh, another one. Okay. And then just draws up on the congratulations on 5 kids banner. Just quickly just changes it into a 6. And, you know, you see Bojack looking at the baby. Well, where he thinks the baby is. Darn it! Come on, come on, come on. Oh, boy. Was just not able to find that up arrow. But, you know, you see Bojack trying to look over to where the baby is, and you see him trying to wave, and the baby just kind of doesn't pay attention. And it's actually really sad to see that, like, you know, Bojack's trying to get the baby's attention to say bye. And you could tell that he really bonded with this, you know, this little seahorse, you know, right away. And it is kind of shitty. You know, I actually do wish he kind of does have, like, a kid situation sometime in the show. I would actually like to see Bojack as a parent. I would like to see, like, true caring and compassionate Bojack. Because he's still going to be the same dumb person that he is now. Like, still the same insecurities, still the same flaws. But I do like this different version of him. Lame. I know in one of these there's like a door when you light it up farther back. I don't know if it's in here or a different one. I think it's in a different room that has this sort of aesthetic and gimmick. Excuse me. Oh, no, no, no. To freedom, not even close. But I do hope to see that at some point in the show's future. I want to see Daddo Bojack. I think that would be a great thing to see. But, you know, it does show that having something to care about can give you that extra oomph that you need. And, you know, not everyone. It doesn't work for everyone. I'm not going to say, like, listen, if you're feeling depressed, just get yourself a dog. It'll solve everything. Like, that's not how that works. You know, or just pop out a baby, you know, either get someone pregnant or have one. That's not how that works either. For some people, that is enough, and that does get them through a lot of things. And, you know, an animal for you in that case may actually be the best option. You know, might be something worth considering. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh. Come on. Egg-eating champion. Egg-eating god. Cheap. Oh, look at them. They're so cute. Cute babies. But, you know, I think I've made this remark before in other videos. Like, if I ever got into a time where, you know, I lost a job and I lost my house, you know, there wouldn't be any sense of shame that would keep me from moving back with my parents and, like, having to explain to them, you know, how much I fucked up, With having 2 kids, if they need a roof, I'm going to figure out a way to get them a roof. Some way, somehow, I'm not going to be homeless. If I was going to be evicted from somewhere, I would have arrangements made the next week. Be like, listen, I'm out of here in 2 months, but that week I'd have a plan of attack of where to go to. I would never let myself get to the same spot that I used to be in. And a big reason for that is the responsibility that I have now. Ooh. Oh no. Got me with one more right before the end. When worlds collide, baby. Bah! 2 bosses, 1 video. Perfect, because I can save all of World 4 for next week's Kirby video and Bojack video. Hopefully I'm not making it at, like, late as hell in the morning. But no, to cap it off with some of this nice, soothing music here. Wonderful episode of the show. And I may not have been able to articulate it as well because, getting distracted, one, and then also just being as tired as I am, too. But this episode did make me reflect a lot on, what isolation does. And, I live with people, but because of going through the bouts of depression that I've gone through in my life, and I've been medicated for whatever class of bipolar disorder it is. I don't remember. It's been more than a decade, and I don't remember anymore. But I know that even though I live with people, I still very much emotionally, a lot of times, get in cycles where I just feel isolated from people. And having something that counts on you can bring the best parts out of you. And, it's helped me a lot in the cycles that I've gone through the last few years. Because, life is hard from time to time. And, waking up, I wake up at, 5, 6 o'clock p.m. usually, since I sleep during the afternoon. Favorite thing to be woken up with every day. I was about to say every morning, but it's not in the morning. But, it was my son coming in my room, my girl, giving me the baby and letting me hold her when I first wake up. A lot of those things really do, even when I am feeling isolated, really do shore up any of the, what's the word I want to use? It doesn't solve the issues that I'm having, but it puts in perspective that, whether we like it or not, unfortunately, the world doesn't stop for us if we're going through some shit. In a perfect, just world, if you're going through a mental health spell, you would have a world around you where you would be able to look around at everyone and be like, all right, listen, I need 2 weeks to just handle my own shit. Just wait for me, give me 2 weeks, I'll be right back. And even if you had other responsibilities, in a perfect world, you'd have somebody to hang on to those responsibilities for you, bills would be taken care of, but this isn't a perfect world, unfortunately. Everything keeps going with or without you. So you have to find ways to address your mental health, especially as you get older. I'm 31. I'm not, if you're young enough and you're still in school, I guess it's not as much of an issue. The problem is that adults don't really take you that seriously, so it's hard for you to communicate with them the things that you need. And also that, if a kid is a kid, they don't know how to communicate very well the things that they need to communicate due to every reason. They're kids. But the world doesn't stop while you need to go through some shit. You need to figure out a way to acclimate it to your life and to address it and solve it, but not forgetting to still handle your business. Because, it puts a sharp reminder every time, I wake up and I have that feeling where, you sit there and be like, is it even worth it for me to get up? And what use is the point of me going to work? Right away, you get snapped back with that thought of reality that Your kid needs to eat. Your baby needs diapers. Like, that stuff is needed. So you better, like, it doesn't matter how you're feeling. Those kids need to eat regardless. And what are you going to do? And I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to get up and go to work. I'm going to do what I need to do. But it really helps that, you know, yeah, the isolation in the episode was much more literal. But people experience isolation in very different ways. But it's just kind of what it made me reflect on a little bit. But that's going to be it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more Golden Sun. Hopefully finish up that Coliseum nonsense. But that's it for Suck Man. Until next time, take it easy. Peace. Oh, I couldn't keep that going and stop the video. Lucky you.